What's up, tribe? Thank you for being here and welcome to my channel. This post is titled Fullness, and it came right after yesterday's post, Constancy. So you might want to give that a listen before you listen to this one, as it's a continuation of that post. And I haven't read it prior, so we're reading this together. You guys ready? Let's go. It's a dialogue between Matias and his higher self, so I'd be referring to Matias as me and to his higher self as I am. Me. Speaking of Constancia, yesterday you made me explain that the concept of time detoxification made reference to changing the perspective of the past, present, and future as times through which we move, towards a concept in which the three times are simple waves, waves that go through us. In other words, the fact of staying in the same place from the full consciousness of oneself turns us all into axes of time, instead of being carried by the tides of time. I am. Each reality can have different observation points, and they will be fine. But each one will teach you something different, depending on the state you are in. In the inner search, there is no truth, but integration of perspectives. So do not look for the truth as the ultimate goal, but nourish yourself with its visions and projections. In this way, if you compare time as if it were an ocean, you can understand yourself as a ship dragged by the current which can take you anywhere if you don't know how to navigate, or to your destination if you learn to use the currents. But on the other hand, you can imagine yourself as a small volcanic island in the middle of the ocean. That is to say, that the ocean passes through you, and also you are capable of transforming it if you turn on and expand. Me, if I decide to be the boat, what would it entail? I am. Everyone must first learn to navigate until they recognize that they can be an island. The natural state is to go with the flow. In this first stage of existence, people are influenced by time, dragged by the forces of the past. They are not masters of their present or future, since they are determined by the forces that push from behind, until one day, tired of being dragged along, you decide to learn to navigate, to move through time, to build using its energy, to connect, to learn, to discover new horizons, new skills that you thought were hidden. To do this, you must look for other sailors who transmit their experience to you. So you meet friends and teachers. You learn to transform yourself. This is equivalent to realizing that instead of being carried away by the forces of the past, we can learn to use them for our own benefit. You cannot remove or erase waves and currents, but you can use them. Each new tool makes you be more in the present, aware of what you are doing. And this will allow you to have the necessary skills to get out of the current when necessary, and take advantage of the force of the sea to choose your destiny in the future. Me and the island, what would it be? I am. When you have sailed the whole ocean, you realize that everything you did has already nurtured you enough. But you have always searched more and more, creating new destinations, goals, always abroad, on the horizon, leaving the past behind to reach a future destination. Thus, every time you set sail from a port, instead of living in the present, you were aware of what was to come, of the future. There will come a time when it will exhaust you, and you will seek to settle, but nowhere belongs to you. You realize that you have spent more time sailing in the sea than in the destinations you arrived at, and therefore you recognize yourself as part of the sea, as part of the process, and you cannot get away from it. To continue creating destinations is to get further away from what you are, the ocean, time. So you decide to find a small island in the middle of the ocean, and instead of running, you build a house where you watch the sea around you go through you, and from there, knowing that the currents move in all directions, all the past, present, and possible futures that you have visited and projected, you propose to stop running and to build your home, contemplating each wave, understanding that all of them were simply leading to you. Thus, as the days go by, you detoxify yourself from the rush of linear time, and in each act, looking in each direction, you build a circular time linked to you, in which you recognize that you can go wherever and whenever you want. Well, you realize that you were the past you were running from, and that future you are looking for. That is, in each step you took, there was only what you call here and now go through you, and from there, knowing that the currents move in all directions, all the past, present, and possible futures that you have visited and projected, there was only what you call here and now. Me, you said that the here and now is very different from the concept of living in the present. I am sure, because the present is a mental concept that connects the events of the past with the decisions of the future, who only says that you have to live in the present, drawing the idea that you have to leave the past behind and let go of the future, is an irresponsible presentist who has seen time as a line and not as a fabric. In a network, you can imagine that each node or vertex is a focus of the present, and the lines of the fabric are the past and future. Now, would the node exist if you remove the lines of the past and the future? Me. No. There would be no vertex if there were no lines. It's like writing or drawing a cross. The point where both lines intersect doesn't exist if I deleted the lines. I am. Well, That is the present in which you think you live. The past is a horizontal line, which could be your open arms, and the future has a vertical line, which is the rest of your body from head to toe. In the center, the heart, the present, which exists thanks to the two lines. Thus, you understand that the present as such does not exist, and you cannot live without past or future. For this reason, the here and now concept means living the fullness of the force of the past and the intention of the future in an instant. Knowing that inside me, here, is everything that I harvested in history, which is fertilizer for intentions, that I put now for my future. You only live in the here and now. Then, when you give meaning and logic to the union of the tools of the past and the purposes of the future united, so I, at this moment, me, I understand. And having said that, we can imagine that time is being, that we must order in coherence. I am, clearly, past, present, and future are the temporal equivalent of spatial width, height, and depth, which at the base of matter you call electron, proton, and neutron, and in the concept of creation you recognize as vibration, energy, and matter, which humans call spirit, soul, and body. A single being projected in different triune visions, which must be lived here and now in order to exist. Me, this then not only detoxifies the idea of linear time that keeps us slaves of doing and doing over and over again, but it also detoxifies the belief that we live in a body in which a soul enters, and that it is connected to a spirit on another higher plane, converting all three into mere aspects of a single concept. This breaks a bit the idea of working the being to connect with the spirit, or to ascend to the spiritual plane, or to believe that a body can lose its soul or be disconnected from its spirit. How is this understood? I am the vision of navigation from an origin to a destination has been embodied in humans since the beginning of the first great drought and climate change experienced in the Pleistocene, if I'm saying that right, approximately 1.5 million years ago, which led them to expand, searching for food in new territories. These great migrations planted in this species the need to look for something that is not where it lives. The place I am in does not have what I'm looking for, and therefore I have to move until I find it. The human psyche decorated this search for food with culture and spirituality, but it also made them greedy. Once they got what they wanted, they kept searching for more and more and more things, pushing the boundaries, taking over everything they could on the outside, until they were no longer sated by the physical world, and they continued to search in the invisible, towards the heavens, towards the spirit, to reach the unattainable. They designed the religions, until when they conquered the religions, they began to search the limits of philosophy, the search for the answers within. And from there, they discovered the I Am, the inner power. Me, all that due to a drought? I am. Crises are great opportunities. But anyway, the long history of leaving one place to find another separated the horizons, dividing not only the world, but the concepts that are had of it. Thus, the day was separated from night, the sky from the earth, and the body from the spirit. Looking for the day, we deny the night. Looking for heaven, we deny the earth. Looking for the spirit, we deny the body. It is like the ship that leaves the port, looking for a destination on the horizon, or who denies its history to start a new life, forgetting that this story will follow it everywhere, because each cell of its body contains every step lived. Me, sure, this had made us feel imprisoned in reality, as if we felt that the body and the world is a prison from which we must escape, free ourselves. The thought was generated that reaching the subtle plane is abandoning the gross, that to reach Dharma, we must eliminate karma, that to achieve our future goals, we must let go of the past, and that to achieve the spiritual plane is to detach from the material. I am, when in reality all these concepts were separated only by the human mind, since they were never different things. Me, it's like when you see that the same hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen atoms can create the basis of life or an element toxic to life according to their rearrangement and bonds with other atoms, carbon and carbon dioxide, for example. I am. The spirit is not separated from the body. They are the same, in different compositions, in the same way that we have explained it with water beyond its solid, liquid, or gaseous state. The three are water. Thus, imagine that water is equal to being. Since being has three states, spiritual, soulful, and corporal, nobody goes to any spiritual plane. They only go from a bodily state, physical, solid, to a soul state, energetic, liquid, to a spiritual plane, vibrational, gaseous. Me, so the great key to constancy is to remain in being without seeking to get out of this reality, believing that it's a trap, but a simple existential state. Not, I am. Good. As long as you believe that you are three separate things, you will never achieve true fullness. Humanity's struggles for freedom have led them to believe that reality itself is a prison, from which the spirit must free itself. And having this battle as a flag is almost like saying that life on Earth is impossible because the existence of a North Pole. that if we were free from the North Pole, surely the South Pole could create better life without the control of the North. And the truth is that life arises from both polarities, which, for the universe, are nothing more than the same reality attracting itself. For this reason, only by understanding the global image, by seeing the magnitude of the whole, is when you can see that there is nowhere to go or escape, that you just have to go to the center. Recognize everything that I am capable of and expand. Me, is that what it means to be full? I am. Fullness comes from the word plenos, which is Latin for complete. No one will ever be complete in his life if he believes that his reality are separate and opposed factors, among which to achieve one you must abandon the other. No one will be full in his life if he seeks to flee or tries to get to another place where he will feel better. The truth is that the potential of all origins and destinations are found within, in the ability to perceive that everything that exists is a reflection of me, and everything that exists is reflected in me. When I stop running, looking to get something, and I become something else, and I become that something, the entire universe responds accordingly. Me, that is the key to the law of being, which integrates the separate concept of the law of attraction. Thinking that I can attract things to myself when I want or need them has the same effect as thinking that I must work hard to achieve them, because both imply understanding the world as separate objects only linked or disconnected by intermediate ties. I am, when in reality, the law of being, the law of one, is that in order to get what I want, I must become it and act in accordance and resonance. I attract what I am, not what I want. Thus, fullness and balance will come to your life when all that you believe separate coexists as one in you. The past lives in your genetics. The future lives in the potentialities of your DNA. Both coexist in what you are in the present. The spirit is the vibration that activates the energy of the molecules you call soul, forming the matter that you know as the body. The spirit was always in you. You don't have to find it. You have to see it. Feel it. Be it. And expand it from you. Me. That's why in the meditations you make us go to the breath, to the organs and blood, to the heat, and to see that the heat emanates into the energy field, which is the same thing that I then breathe into, reactivate, It's like recycling a circular. I am, because the higher self is not above, it is through you. I go through you, because you are me, and I am you. Me. Therefore, these 3 weeks of 10 days, we have sought just that, to take the first of 12 steps throughout the 12 months in the intention of being full, of living in the here and now, recognizing that I am the Holy Trinity of the Spirit, soul, and body. I am that I can live in fullness because nothing exists outside of me, because even I do not exist. And that is the reason why the consciousness I can create myself re-emerge, knowing that I do not have to achieve more than being me, myself. Because if I achieve being, the entire universe will express itself through me. That is the greatest of freedoms. Me, thank you. I thus close my first cycle, the path through the I can, under the essence of the constellation of Leo, recognizing the greatness that lies in my being, recognizing that I can be the whole universe. And I am about to integrate the 3 bodies into what they are, unity. I am, and thus you will now be able to begin to bring order to each of your full aspects. Welcome to the fullness of the here and now. Welcome to the order of this new cycle in which you must analyze every potential in you. Welcome to the second cycle under the mantle of the constellation Virgo. Me. I am fullness. That is it for the dialogue, you guys. I just want to say that if you have not been doing the meditations with us, please consider joining, because it is truly life-changing. There is no better gift you can give yourself than those meditations, than going inwards and finding out what that means. Finding out what your inner world looks like. So as usual, I'll leave a link to the meditations in the comments below, and just have a quick look through the meditations of the past month at least, and then you can just join us for the Virgo constellation meditations. Thank you again for being here, and until next time, I'm sending you much, much love. Stay safe.